1815. The cannons fall silent across the muddy fields of Waterloo. Europe exhales. The long wars against Napoleon have ended, and Britain, an island kingdom once content with its coasts, emerges as the world's preeminent power. From this moment onward, British forces are no longer merely defenders of a nation. They are architects of an empire. The 19th century dawns beneath the Union Jack. Red-coated soldiers march across continents, their boots sinking into sands, jungles, and highlands far from home. The Royal Navy, vast, disciplined, and seemingly omnipresent, rules the seas. Its ships patrol the trade routes from the Cape of Good Hope to the South China Sea, their sails white against endless blue. Britain's power rests not only on might, but on motion, the ability to reach anywhere, to strike anywhere, to govern from afar. The empire expands in waves, carried by wind and ambition. India becomes the crown jewel, Australia a penal colony turned dominion, Africa a canvas of conquest and commerce. Everywhere, the British military serves as both sword and symbol, enforcing a defending, expanding. But empire demands a price. Beneath the grandeur lies tension. Indigenous resistance flares in India, in Africa, in the Caribbean. The soldiers who bear the flag also bear the burden of rebellion and reprisal. For every victory parade in London, there are battlefields left scarred in silence, the blood of the conquered mingling with that of the conquerors. By the late 19th century, Britain stands at the height of its industrial power. Steam replaces sail, ironclads replace wooden ships. The factory and the foundry become as vital to warfare as courage and command. The British Army, once reliant on volunteer regiments and colonial levies, modernizes in step with the machinery of empire. Across Europe, rival powers awaken. Germany unites under a new banner. France rebuilds its pride. The world edges toward a storm, and Britain, guardian of global trade, ruler of the seas, finds itself drawn into an age it cannot control. Then comes 1914. August. The guns of Europe erupt. Britain declares war on Germany, and a generation marches to the front. The British Expeditionary Force crosses the Channel, confident, professional, unaware of the scale of what lies ahead. Within months, optimism drowns in the mud of the Western Front. The war becomes a graveyard of progress. Machine guns chatter endlessly, artillery turns fields into craters, and poison gas drifts like a phantom over no man's land. The Somme, Ypres, Passchendaele, each name becomes a wound carved into national memory. The empire answers the call. Canadians, Australians, Indians, New Zealanders, Africans, all fighting under one flag. The British forces are no longer merely national, they are global. But victory is hollow. When the guns fall silent in 1918, Britain stands victorious yet broken. The empire is vast, but the cost of defending it has drained the nation's lifeblood. Cemeteries stretch across France, and in homes from Glasgow to Delhi, silence replaces celebration. The 1920s bring no peace of mind. Britain tries to heal, but the world it once ruled begins to shift. Colonial unrest grows. Independence movements stir. The military downsizes, haunted by memories of the trenches. Yet, as the nation looks inward, across the Channel, a familiar menace rises again. In Germany, a demagogue named Adolf Hitler rebuilds his nation's pride through rearmament and rhetoric. By the late 1930s, British intelligence knows what is coming, but the country is weary, still mending from one war and ready for another. Appeasement buys time, not safety. 1939. Once more, Europe burns. When Germany invades Poland, Britain and France declare war. But it is Britain that stands firm when the continent falls. In 1940, as Nazi forces sweep across Western Europe, British troops are pushed back to the beaches of Dunkirk. Under relentless bombardment, a miraculous evacuation unfolds. Hundreds of civilian vessels, fishing boats, merchant ships ferry soldiers home under fire. It is a retreat, yet it feels like deliverance. Then comes the Battle of Britain. In the skies above the southern coast, the Royal Air Force young pilots, barely out of school, defend the island against the full force of the Luftwaffe. Smoke trails across the summer sky. London burns in the Blitz, but the nation endures. Never in the field of human conflict, Churchill declares, was so much owed by so many to so few. British forces fight on every front: North Africa's deserts, the frozen Arctic convoys, the jungles of Burma. The empire rallies again, its people united by survival. By 1945, as Allied armies march into Berlin, Britain stands among the victors, but this time, the world has changed forever. Victory brings exhaustion. The empire that once spanned the globe begins to dissolve. India gains independence in 1947. and the great imperial tapestry unravels piece by piece. British forces withdraw, not in defeat, but in recognition that history's tide has turned. The Cold War ushers in a new kind of conflict. Britain's armies no longer conquer, they contain. The country, now a nuclear power, becomes a strategic partner in a divided world. In Korea, in Malaya, in the Falklands, British soldiers adapt to smaller, faster wars fought on political edges rather than vast fronts. 1982, the Falklands War. A reminder that British resolve still burns. When Argentina invades the remote islands of the South Atlantic, Britain responds with a naval task force sent across 8,000 miles of ocean. The campaign is swift, costly, and decisive. The Union Jack rises once more over Stanley, a symbol of enduring determination in an age of diminishing empire. As the 20th century closes, the British armed forces transform yet again. The Cold War fades, replaced by complex multinational operations. The Gulf War, Kosovo, Afghanistan, Iraq, each conflict tests a new generation of soldiers, sailors, and airmen. Technology changes the face of warfare. Drones, precision strikes, cyber intelligence. Yet the human element remains: the courage to serve, to sacrifice, to stand for something larger than oneself. British forces become as much peacekeepers as warriors. From Sierra Leone to the Balkans, they intervene not for conquest, but for stability. The world watches Britain evolve from imperial might to moral force, from empire builder to global partner. Today, the British military stands as one of the most advanced and professional in the world. The Army, Navy, and Royal Air Force operate across the globe, often quietly, often unseen, training allies, delivering aid, deterring aggression. The aircraft carrier HMS Queen Elizabeth sails with cutting-edge technology, a modern echo of Britain's naval legacy. The RAF commands the skies with precision and speed. The British Army, leaner but sharper, trains in environments from Arctic cold to desert heat. Yet even now, the weight of history lingers. Each uniform carries not only rank and duty, but a lineage stretching back through centuries. Waterloo, the Somme, El Alamein, the Falklands. The echoes of past battles still shape every mission, every march, every decision. Power in the British story. It has never been only about might. It has been about endurance, the will to adapt, to survive, to redefine itself with every turning century. From wooden ships on the high seas to stealth fighters in the digital age, British forces have mirrored the evolution of the nation they serve. Yet history's lessons remain clear. Power without purpose falters. Empire without empathy collapses. What endures is not the reach of territory, but the resilience of spirit. The British armed forces of today are not those of empire. They are the guardians of a new kind of influence. Humanitarian, diplomatic, strategic, a force that stands for order amid chaos, for principle amid uncertainty. From the smoke of Waterloo to the skies above Syria, the story of British forces is the story of transformation. Once conquerors, now protectors. Once rulers, now partners. The red coats have faded into camouflage, the empire into alliances. At the heart remains the unyielding resolve of a small island that shaped the world. The past may be written in gunpowder and glory, but the future belongs to those who remember what those sacrifices were for. For in uncovering a history of British power and war, we uncover something deeper: the evolution of duty itself. And as new generations march beneath the same flag, the legacy continues, not in conquest, but in courage,